Today, I'm joined by none other than James Hughes, eXp Agent of the Year 2025. From his early days at Foxtons to leading the way in personal brand, performance, and proactive lead generation, James shares the mindset and the methods behind his standout success. Hope you enjoy the episode. If you're an estate agent that wants to stay ahead of the competition and to make more profits, then you need to talk to Iceberg Digital. Iceberg doesn't just sit alongside your CRM system, it replaces it. It's the UK's leading AI operating CRM system for estate agents, combining your CRM system, prospecting, marketing, website, and compliance all in one ecosystem. Your CRM system becomes fully automated, taking care of those repetitive tasks your team shouldn't be doing. Your prospecting runs 24/7, scanning the portals, capturing property addresses, matching them with your database, and sending them personal outreach faster than any human ever could. Your marketing is automatically written to match your tone of voice. Blogs, property descriptions, vendor updates, all done for you. And your website becomes AI driven, adapting to each visitor in real time and making your agency discoverable on Google and also on tools like ChatGPT. Agents across the UK are already using Iceberg to run a leaner, smarter, and more profitable business. Visit icebergdigital.co.uk and mention the Estate and Consultancy podcast when you book your demo to get an exclusive perk. James, welcome to the podcast and a huge congratulations as well, eXp Agent of the Year.
Thank you very much. I've got my awards. Just hoping that you're going to lead with that starting. Yeah, I'm knackered, but I've had an awesome year. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely love doing what I do. Yeah, love what we've achieved last year as a collective. But thank you very much. It was an awesome year. But I was a bit knackered, but good to kind of be back again, hitting the ground running really.
Oh, fantastic. So let's go right back to the start because you started off at Foxtons back when you first started. So let's start from there and kind of bring us forward to today. What's happened in the timeline?
Yeah, sure. So 2010, I didn't know what being an estate agent was. Applied to Foxtons. They had these amazing minis. I was there as a lettings agent. I loved my time there. I didn't mind the micromanagement. It was work hard, kind of play hard back in the day. Hit the car targets, hit the trip targets. Some amazing memories there. Very grateful for my schooling. I was the first ever lettings agent in the South Division to hit their supercar target. It was nicknamed the Machine. I've got a slightly monotone voice. It's not because of that. It's because of my work ethic and my ethics and the KPIs. Loved Foxtons. But there is a ceiling there with what you can learn and also what you can obviously earn as well. Then joined CBRE. CBRE, a very big commercial real estate company. They opened the residential arm of their business. So I went over as the lettings manager based in Battersea and Nine Elms. We then started a business, had to build it from scratch, very much enjoyed it, built a team, built the client base, did sales and lettings initially and then sales, then basically kind of took over the kind of South and the West division. So loved my time there. Awesome bunch of people. I learned a lot more about build to rent, development consultancy. Left real estate for a bit to work in telecoms for 2 years. Then went for a divorce. Then when I was looking at what to do, Jonathan Woods had just joined eXp about 4.5 years ago. I didn't know what it was. eXp was not that well known 4.5 years ago, but luckily I'm a bit of a yes man. I said yes. And then my eXp journey has been over the last 4 years.
And here we are today. How much of a effect of your career do you think that sort of Foxtons almost school of hard knocks to start off with sort of played sort of a helping hand or maybe a harder hand for you sort of down the line? Do you think it sort of set you up to win, do you think?
Yeah, any Foxtons agent, if they've been there for a while, has dealt with every happening within agency. It's fantastic training, good bunch of people, amazing training. And you see it with the self-employed agents. Obviously, not everyone is from Foxtons, but there's a large majority, certainly in London. And typically, the Foxtons agents, not just Foxtons, but if you've been at Foxtons for a while, you sort of know what to do. So very grateful for the friends and the connections made there, and very grateful for the schooling as well. I was a bit of a lone wolf back in the day, so I kind of made it easy for my managers' morning meetings to have something to talk about, i.e. me, what I had done the day before. A bit of a kind of reputation there, but I guess I've been more aware of my brand and my reputation as I've kind of grown from my real estate career.
I mean, I love the nickname The Machine. I mean, that is a good nickname to say. It could have been way worse. Like, I mean, The Machine's like a good one. That's like a one I like that. So What was obviously I mentioned obviously you kind of stepped away from the estate agency world, then kind of came back to it. Obviously, the easier route for you to go down would have been probably just to message the guys over at Foxtons or CBRE and say to them, "Hey guys, I'm looking for a job. Do you want to do you want me back?" Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go down the self-employed route as opposed to sort of what probably would have been an easier choice and a lot more guaranteed salaries and whatever it may be of just sort of going back where you'd been historically?
Yeah, CBRE is a branch manager. You can earn 80 to 100K, which is great. Very good earnings, even though net take home 5K. But I guess the time that you give up for that, it's leaving the house at 7, getting home at 7, etc., etc. I was working in telecoms at the time, so I had an insight into basically being a self-employed, working from home, doing whatever I wanted to, which I hadn't really experienced as a corporate agent. So I was obviously employed working in telecoms, but I was free to do whatever I wanted to. And I thought I could go back to CBRE, but I'm very much enjoying this freedom. I hadn't really had any goals about building my own business before. And Jonathan Woods, he was very new into EXP. I think, in all honesty, it was more that I didn't want to go back to being constrained in that kind of corporate world. I thought that looks quite good. I'm a good agent. John will help me. I didn't quite know much about EXP, but it was more about the freedom that I was used to that I didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave. And luckily, as you learn about EXP, it only gets more exciting and more exciting. And then obviously the earnings are there for you as well.
Do you think timing wise, I'm kind of, getting my calendar out of my head here, thinking, 4.5 years ago, I'm thinking kind of 2021 sort of direction into 2020 sort of way. Obviously, that was kind of post COVID. And I think that, if you looked on paper, post COVID is probably like the worst time to open a estate agency. Everyone's at lockdown, everyone's at home, they can't go out, etc., etc. But in hindsight, looking back, it probably wasn't a bad timing in the grand scheme of things. Did you have some reluctance with the sort of timing of it at that time? Or did you think it just thought, actually, as good a time as any, let's just go for it?
When I just been through divorce, so I was a broken man, both emotionally and financially. So my life couldn't get any worse. So in all honesty, I thought, what is the worst that can happen? I'm not creating my own agency. I don't have the massive overheads to do that. It's just paying a monthly membership of 125 plus VAT. I thought, yeah, why not? I'll give it a go. My first year, which I might go on to, wasn't very strong at all because I didn't know what to do. Being a corporate agent, you just call clients. It's easy. Running your own business, there's so many more skills that we need to learn. And don't get me wrong, 4 years in, there's more skills that we are learning on a day-to-day basis. But now it's more the scaling and the building as opposed to when you start out. It's like, Christ, how do I generate a lead?
So let's go back to that launch then. You've segued me beautifully. So you've joined EXP and you're sort of a new agent in inverted commas to EXP, and obviously you've got a sort of a blank database in front of you, a blank diary in front of you. Where did you first start in that sort of right? I need to get some instructions then, pretty sharp.
So I was extremely sporadic. Now, for all the agents who join our group, we know exactly what to do. We now go through the process, getting you set up. Now it's the lead generation blueprint process. We know exactly what to do for all our agents who join our group. But back then, me and Jonathan Woods didn't have a clue what to do. So I was going door knocking, not having a business card. So if they weren't in, they didn't know that I'd called. I was meeting architects, thinking about long-term relationships, but that wasn't going to get me a listing. I wasn't using any prospecting tools. I was doing social media, but very badly. Some of the comments I had from my very supportive friends about my social media content wasn't very good. But then probably month 6 or month 7, I started to go to networking on a regular basis. I had basic things like I had leaflets. I know it sounds as a very basic thing, but I didn't do that at the start. I then did better and more regular social media. My meetings were more about meeting landlords and clients as opposed to random meetings. So it took me 6 or 7 months to kind of figure out what the process was. And then by month, so my first year was not strong at all. I had about 4 listings, I had a pipeline of 30K, and then the Liz Trust debacle, it went down to 10K. So I broke down in tears once again after a very strong, a very hard personal year that way. But it was only kind of month 7 or month 8 when I started to follow the process religiously. And then the second year really kicked on because I was then following the process and then the results were starting to come.
How did you stick with it? Is probably the best way of putting it, because obviously you mentioned Liz Trust and pipelines dropping down and a bit sporadic, and it wasn't the first best sort of first year. I think when you start anything, there's that initial sort of honeymoon period for maybe the first month or two. Where you're like, oh, great, I'm self-employed and I'm an estate agent sort of thing. But then obviously life sort of grinds you down. And you're like, no, I would have expected to get some more properties on the market. I would have expected to earn this much money. I would have expected, my pipeline to be bigger. How did you stick with it over that first sort of 8, 9 months, year or so, where you kind of wanted more, but it kind of wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I'm a big believer of passive income. So my goal to have that was to be a buy-to-let landlord. I used to work very hard, build that up. So luckily, I was not living month to month. I always had some passive income through being a landlord. I've now sold those because of the wonderful government making it harder for the private landlords, which is maybe episode 2 on this podcast. Um, but luckily, so I was not living month to month. I mean, some agents literally live month to month, and you have 6 months of savings to make this work. So I didn't hit that 4 month wall where all of my savings had gone, luckily. But I've always been a hard worker. I've always been a successful agent at Foxtons, top agent, CBRE, one of the best agents. So it was my, I guess, my reputation that wanting to make this a success. And then Jonathan Woods, he was starting to build, and then other eXp agents, they were starting to build, and you kind of reach out to them and kind of find out what they're doing. And it's all about kind of collaborating, kind of sharing ideas. So yeah, I've always been a hard worker, and I didn't want to go back to being employed. So I thought this has to work eventually. And then luckily, through following the process, it did start to work. And then once you then know the process, EXP gives you such an amazing business in a box. You don't have to think about it. And then if you follow the process that I keep talking about that we now know works, the results kind of come from that as well.
How important is that collaboration piece? Because, I joke with my clients slightly that I'm kind of a 90% estate agency, like 10% counselor, and it's probably more than 10% in reality. So when you're on your own, you're a guy, lady, whatever it may be, and you've got your own business, you can always feel like the weight's on your world's on your shoulders sometimes, and you're all alone, and no one kind of understands what you're going through. As much as your mates might be there to support you, they haven't got their own estate agency business on their shoulders. So how important is that sort of, I guess, community support, collaboration, whatever you want to call it, piece?
Yeah, I think it's important now because most of us who've been corporate agents, we're used to a bit of banter. We're used to being in the kind of sales room, a bit of banter. And then you kind of go and you're sort of kind of by yourself. It kind of depends on the kind of groups that you pick, where if you have a agent who's kind of close to you, you might go and hang out with them, you might shadow them on a sales valuation, you might kind of meet for a coffee. It really depends on the kind of groups that you pick within the kind of brokerage that you choose, really. Obviously our group now, 135 agents strong, we have regular meetups, we do agent mastermind events to get the agents to kind of network. And you see there are kind of little groups forming within our group as well. It very much depends on where they are geographically, and shadow as an evaluation. Let's now spend half an hour to kind of go through your business, to kind of meet for a coffee. I think collaboration and the industry is changing a lot more very quickly. Where I think the industry is changing. Where back in the day, it used to be, I'm a corporate agent, this is my client. I don't want to share this because I don't get much of the fee, so I'm going to fight to kind of keep this. Now, as more independents are starting, because we retain the fee or the majority of the fee, we have enough to kind of share around. So if I have a listing, I will welcome another EXP agent or any agent to come and bring their buyer to me. And then I'll obviously share part of my fee with you because we're thinking about getting it sold for the client. So collaboration is changing, I think, the industry in general. Most people are more open to it now. Some are still that, and that's absolutely fine. You run your business however you want to. So I think there's more collaboration within the industry, and there's also more collaboration within the independent agency business, where I guess we are entrepreneurs, and hopefully we're not too proud to say I'm still learning. I'm 4 years in, but I'm still learning. I go to any networking events like a sponge. I want to learn more for me to kind of give back to my agent. So, and then I admire other agents on their social media, their branding. What are they doing? It's all about learning together. Hopefully, I mean that's how I think. But yeah, I'm sure that it doesn't work for everyone. But hopefully, the majority are kind of working that way and going forward as well.
And I think it's something that I'm certainly seeing as well. So I've got one of my clients based in London, and he's doing a property at the moment, and he's with two other agents who are both a part of two different brokerages as well. So it's three different agents from three different brokerages selling one property sort of thing. And it's their social media video, they're all together sort of thing. It's not like, oh, this is my listing, and these guys are potentially like they're like three guys, different brokerages, all trying to sell the same property, all with the same goal in mind. I think that's really great to see. I think going back 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago sort of thing, that would have been never seen across the board. So
Yeah,
I think that's definitely
there was the one like, when I was at Fox's, it's like, oh, EA, enemy agent. It's like EA, and it's like you made a very valid point. Different independent brokerages all working together. It's great, and I think we are going to see a lot more of that as the independent agency kind of really kind of kicks on as well.
And I think it's about you mentioned there quite nicely about the sort of looking at other people's social media and thinking, "Oh, that's really good," and kind of learning from it, right? I think kind of the I don't want to say emotional way of being. The emotional way would be like, oh, they've got so, oh, they're yeah, but they're this and they're that sort of thing. It's kind of like discounting it. Whereas I think sort of the more sort of grown up conversation is to go, actually, oh, that's really good. Yeah, I could actually put some of that in my business. Oh, they seem to be doing really well. That I could actually learn from that lesson as well. Because if they're listing and selling more properties than you are, they're kind of playing the game better than you are. And so there's probably something you can learn off the back of it. If it's something off their socials or their letters or their personal brand, whatever it may be, there's always something you can take on board from that.
Yeah, obviously, I don't know how other brokerages work. I don't know about support. I don't know about the community. I assure you, within EXP, because we're all business owners, all kind of collaborating, because we all own the business, we all get equity in it. It just encourages us to actually work and like work together and share ideas. We've got so many WhatsApp groups of people sharing ideas, like sharing tips, and that's awesome because maybe because we're all earning very well, that allows us to be actually I'm going to kind of give back and kind of share what I've learned, but also not being too proud to say that I'm still learning as well. So I'll reach out to you. What can you learn from me, and kind of vice versa.
So if you could go back to James 4.5 years ago and give him a little bit of a shake and go, James, mate, don't focus the ideas you've got to do in your head for the next 6 months or so, like they're pretty terrible. This is what you should be doing instead, sort of thing. What would be those sort of main focuses you tell yourself 4.5 years ago? This is what you actually should be doing.
So agents that join our group, they're like, James, can we do a 6 month or 12 month business plan? I was like, that's fine. Let's do one. But you need to get a listing. Like, if you don't have a listing, if you don't have a lead, you can't eat. You need to get a listing. So I guess going back now, it sounds very simple, but get set up online. Your Google business page, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your website, look credible. Everything is now online. If you're not online, yes, you can do well. It's all about you, how you build your agency, but everything's online now. Once you're set up, great, you've now set up. Now it's the lead generation. Let's work hard. Let's follow this process for all of these 6 to 8 points about generating a lead. So, yeah, it's just, I keep mentioning about kind of follow the process. It's get set up and then follow the process over and over and over and over and over again. Leads are so valuable. If you do not have a lead as an estate agent, you don't have a business. So you have to grow and scale, but don't forget about your lead generation source. Like, don't take your foot off the gas. My leads have evolved where when I've actually gone through my figures at the start, it's very much business development. It's door knocking in the local area. It's leafleting in the local area. It's prospecting in the local area. Now, my main lead sources now are social media, networking, BNI, and also referrals. So I'm consistent on my social media. I'm consistent on my networking, and luckily I'm consistent on my referrals and my touch points as well. Referrals, whether you give them a bottle of champagne, referrals, whether it's a percentage. But if you stay consistent at that, my leads are still coming in. So for all of the agents who join us, you have to follow this process over and over and over and over again until the leads start to come. Then you can maybe take your foot off the gas from door knocking or leafleting or prospecting, but you have to stay consistent on the other things that are bringing in leads to your business.
So
I should
actually,
be, I should be an agent coach, Chris.
you should be. I'm gonna retire. We're gonna swap positions on you, I think. So talk me through the social media side of things. So you mentioned obviously that's been a big part now of sort of where your leads come through as a business. That's kind of been a big sort of a growing cog, should we say, over the last X amount of years. What are the changes you've made with regard to the socials, and what are the top people in your network doing on their socials that you think maybe agents that maybe are struggling slightly with socials aren't doing?
Well, they're not posting. So very simple. I am very much me. It's about being you. I'm not a luxury agent. I'm not a luxurious person. Doesn't sound very good, but I'm very much me. It's about branding yourself how you are. Yes, I'm going to try and improve my branding as this year kind of goes on to kind of be more consistent with me, but it's about posting every day. And that is Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I don't know why agents don't post on LinkedIn. You've got homeowners, you've got people, you've got old colleagues who will refer you. So it's posting consistently. Um, and it's not about being the best content, it's about being the best known. If you open your phone, I'm normally at the top of people's Instagram stories because I'm just posting. So I post every day. about a new listing, a new sale, you don't get many interactions for that. Obviously, people love you for being an independent personal agent. It's the stories, it's the struggles, it's the success. I remember I had four fall throughs 1 month that cost me about 35K in fees. And that got me, because I was being honest about the struggles about being an independent agent. I had a lot more interactions on that one as opposed to, oh, new sale. So it's about telling your story, but also being consistent. You can then, depending on your time, and I now use Sendable, so that schedules my generic posts for me: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and your Google business page. But it's important to be telling your story. And then over time, obviously, your brand, where I am now, I need to improve my brand and my logo slightly. But then I guess that's a bit of a challenge for this year, really.
Yeah, it's funny how sort of being your authentic self is probably the best way of putting it. It's sometimes some of the best marketing you do. I remember I had Megan 18 on the podcast quite a while ago now, and she went through a bit of a tough time with work and bits and pieces. And instead of, everything on social media is great, isn't it? Everyone's like, it's always sunny skies, and I've got a new car, and I'm on holiday, and whatever it may be. And she was talking about sort of the value and the connection she had with people. When actually she came on, social media one day and was like, actually, I'm having a bit of a crap time at the moment. This has happened at work, and this has happened personally. I've got these sort of things going on. And she kind of talked about how people warm to her so much more because instead of just being like, everything's amazing, I've made loads of money, I'm off on holiday, it's all great sort of thing, you're actually kind of being a real person rather than just sort of like an online, everything's amazing.
Yeah, and sometimes the agents coming into self-employed, there's so much noise on social media, capping, icon, big numbers, and it can be quite daunting. I remind people about my story. I sold 2 homes in my first year. You don't always start as an icon agent or earning loads of money in the first year, so it can be quite daunting. So we have to remind our agents that not everyone starts with a massive pipeline. You have to kind of start from fresh. And you made a very valid point. I think people actually appreciate and buy into you more, the more honest and the more open you can be about your personal life, about the struggles, about the successes. Um, yeah, actually, I might try and be. I mean, I'm very honest anyway, but I might try and do a bit more kind of behind the scenes. Obviously, everyone's marketing videos are perfect. I might just say, well, that's taken me 15 failed attempts, me stuttering once again. And yeah, well, that's, I think people will actually, I might even do a blooper video on my actual right move listing just to kind of get the to kind of see what the kind of feedback is. Well, I like to get the
I
clients.
think that'll do very well. So I literally had a client this morning, who literally the whole video call was, I'm anxious about, putting myself on social media. I don't know what I'm saying. I've got imposter syndrome, all this sort of stuff. And I was like, right, we're doing a screen share. We're going on my Instagram account here, and we're scrolling back, scrolling back, scrolling back. I was like, right, here's my videos from 2 and a bit years ago. I was like, they are crap. I was like, look at this video. Look, it's scripted. It's this. The lighting's bad. The cameras. Look at that picture. That's terrible, sort of thing. I was like, now we're going to scroll back to where we are today. Scroll, 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 scroll. And it was like 5 minutes worth of scrolling. And I was like, right, now we are today, like a bit better, not amazing, but quite a bit better because I've had to go through all that stuff. I was like, your first post you're going to make, they're going to suck. They're going to be terrible. You look back in whatever you do right now, you look back in 6 months' time and go, what was I thinking? But the main bit is sticking your neck out there, getting it on there, and then just improving from where you are.
Yeah, and if you do a amazing video, then do the Instagram story about this is you got 40 failed videos there. People will actually appreciate it more. But then it's amazing to see agents' journeys, like agents that join us as, oh, do you want to be in the video? Oh no, no way. But then 6 months, 9 months later, you see them bossing it and they're walking down the road of confidence. And it's amazing to see agents' journeys.
I've got a bit of a theory on this. I always think it's the agents who dislike social media the most are the ones that are like the biggest fans of it when it gets going. So I remember like clients I've had over the years, ones that are like, I'm definitely never doing social media. I hate social media. I hate my face. I hate my voice. Yeah, 6 months later, they're the ones like, put down the camera. Come on, just back away from your phone. Like you've done 4 posts today already. Like you don't need to do it again, sort of thing. They're the ones that really, once they get it, they're like, oh my God, like out the cage, let's go.
Yeah, I think look, that is the way that the world is going. It's social media. We've got AI coming at us quite quick as well that we need to upskill very quickly on. But if you're not on camera, it depends on your business, but that is the way that the world is going. And also, any valuation that I go on now, I send the client, that's my Instagram, that's my website, that's my Instagram, that's my Google business page. They've already market researched me before. And if you do an amazing video, in all honesty, it doesn't really help to sell the home. Sometimes it does, but it's actually just marketing you for a client to see, wow, look at what he did. So it's actually marketing yourself to get more instructions from it as well.
I love that. You've segued me beautifully again. Thank you so much. So let's talk about what the top agents are doing today to get the best possible results for their sellers. So what are the top agents that you connect with or you see online or yourself? What are you doing differently to other agents that aren't necessarily at the same sort of level, do you think, when it comes to selling properties?
What am I doing differently?
Yeah. Yeah. So what makes the properties that you bring on the market and the properties that you and the group sell that you think sell that makes me a cut above the rest compared to the sort of bulk agent out there?
Well, I guess me personally, I'm exceptionally hardworking and I give very honest advice to my clients. I have lost out on some instructions by being honest, but then that client normally kind of comes back to me in kind of 2 or 3 months' time. It's just giving exceptionally honest advice. Look, this is one of the hardest markets that we've experienced for some time. If you're not giving honest advice to your clients about presentation, pricing, and that's sometimes being quite firm with those conversations, but in a very nice polite way. So it's giving exceptionally honest advice at the start about presentation pricing, and then doing all that you can on the presentation, staging it, recommending a stager, not cutting corners if it needs a video, if it needs a drone, and then just really working your socks off to get it over the line. Not just to sell it, but obviously they can coming back from a lettings experience. I agreed a deal on Monday. I'll get paid on Friday. Sales is what's these home valuations, what are these down values, home buyers surveys, and they get paid when they pull out after 5 months. So it's not just selling it, but it's getting it over the line, and it's us fighting for you every step of the way in a very challenging market with different moving parts, working our socks off to maintain our brand, to maintain our reputation, to help you, the very important client, get onto your next chapter as well. So it's probably what makes me different. It's the hard work, it's the honest conversations. But the beauty about being self-employed is that you can obviously run your business however you want to.
You mentioned there about having sort of tougher conversations with sellers and sort of a more of a sort of reality check sometimes, I would imagine. Do you think that as an industry, we're still a bit people pleasing and we kind of don't want to say, oh, actually, it should be 500,000 quid instead of 550? We kind of like just kind of go along. We think the industry's got an issue with people pleasing as opposed to, I don't want to say telling the truth, but sort of being direct, should we say?
We were all trained to not tell the truth. However that sounds, i.e., so we were told to go and win the listing. We were told to go and win the listing. That normally meant giving a client 10% above the what I thought was the correct price to win the listing, to sign into 16 months, to reduce not 16 months, 16 weeks, to reduce it. And then the corporate agent would typically sell 25% of their stock. That for them is a success. That unfortunately means that 75% of the clients do not get sold. That is not a success. But the corporate agency thinks, great, look at what we've sold. So now it's having to when I go on evaluation, I bring up Rightmove Plus. I work as a kind of consultant. I'm here to show you what's selling, what isn't selling. We're doing this together. We're in a partnership with the client. I'm here to work with you in partnership with you by discussing the pricing. If we're straight, and when I go, most of my evaluations now, they're normally a warm referral where it's me just going there. But if you go in there with three other agents, I ask the client, like, what have they said? Why have they said that? What evidence have they kind of put forward to suggest going in 100K above what the other other agents are? So it's more of a kind of I go in more as a consultant really. This is very much a service industry. You mentioned about pleasing clients. We are in a service industry. It's a service industry. It's giving you the most amazing touch points we can at every step of the way. They're not just forgetting about the client, checking in with them, kind of having additional kind of touch points down the line as well. But I think people are more aware that agency is changing and the industry is changing, and the consumer is now more aware about the independent personal person, where it's not just the big corporate brands, because we all know that you don't deal with the person that you actually meet on the evaluation. I think more customers are aware of this self-employed offering now. And hopefully in doing that, if I don't have honest conversations with my client, I don't eat. I don't have a salary. I'm here to get your place sold. I sell about 90% of my listings because I have the honest conversations. I'm not here for market share. I don't care about that. I'm here to get your place sold. And that involves having the correct, honest conversations about presentation, pricing, what I'm going to do in the background, through my network, for all that I'm going to. This is how I'm going to sell your place. By having honest conversations and rolling up your sleeves and working your socks off to help that very important client.
Yeah, I think my favorite expression here is either I sell your house or I sell mine. I like that expression. It carries a bit of weight with it. So talk me through. So you've obviously hit some pretty major milestones with regard to kind of your from a cold start, very cold start 4.5 years ago to now obviously EXP Agent of the Year. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you ticking? What keeps you going? Because you've hit so many things that people are like, oh, I'll be happy to reach Icon, or I'll be happy to cap, or I'll be happy to, have a team or whatever. How are you stay motivated now you've done all that?
I absolutely love doing what I do. So that helps in itself. I love working with people. I love working with clients. I love building my agency. I want to be working with more people, servicing more clients, but I'm also building a big revenue share group as well. So that I feel obliged to tell agents about this model, whether it's EXP, whether it's other self-employed offerings. I personally feel obliged to tell people who might have been corporate, scared about this whole other world out there. It's not that scary. In fact, it's freaking amazing what you can earn, how you can build your life, the travel, etc. The ownership of what we do. So that excites me. I've got this addictive personality to working. My wife gets a bit. I'm sort of trying to get out. I'm sort of trying to figure out a balance. I don't know what the answer is to that perfect work-life-home balance. If anyone has the answer, please drop me a DM to to give me a bit of life counselling. But I absolutely love doing what I do. It also it's enhancing my my family's life here. So why would I not tell people and then help agents to improve their life? I don't want to say better because self-employed, it's not for everybody. It's a different option. Some people they like being corporate. Some people they like doing what they do. But there's another option now that if I don't introduce agents to that, I feel that I haven't really done them. I guess the kind of justice and letting them know about have a conversation about what a self-employed agency life could look like.
Amazing. I've got a couple of last quick questions, if that's okay. You've been very generous with your time. What is one mistake you see that self-employed estate agents make that you wish they would avoid making?
One mistake. I get frustrated when no one follows the process. No one kind of posts on social media. Social media is such an easy tool to kind of generate leads that way. Um, I guess it kind of depends how you learn from those mistakes. I mean, I've made mistakes. It's helped me to learn from it. It's helped me to grow. Yeah, it's probably just a kind of social media. It's such an easy tool, and it's a free tool to be generating leads. Like that slightly frustrates me when people aren't on social media.
And one final one for anyone who's sat here kind of listening to this, going, "Oh, I'm employed at the moment, and maybe this self-employed bag might be for me potentially." What would you say to that person to kind of either put them in the right sort of mindset going forward?
You only live once. You only do not have any regrets. Reach out to all of the. There's so many self-employed offerings now. You've got so many. Go and speak to all of them. Go and speak to all of them. Go and have a coffee. See if you like it. There's so many offerings. It's very important to understand the fundamentals between all of the different models. If it doesn't work out, you can just go back and get a job at where you already are. But there is a whole different life out there. We've all been corporate and we've all been scared about when a new agent joins. It's like the kind of Shawshank Redemption when he's left the prison, he's being blamed on, and it's freedom. And I kind of send that photo around, and people are laughing, joke, but then actually, in 3 months or 6 months of building this business, being free to do whatever you want, it just gets even more exciting. But please, I urge you, go and have a coffee, find out. I know you have to pretend that you're going to the dentist at lunch to go and have the time to go and speak to people, but please do it for you and also for your families as well.
James, you've been amazing. Thank you. There is no doubt I can tell why you got the nickname the machine. Like, there's no doubt. So thank you so much for your time, Damien. You've been absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. And thanks for all that you're doing in the industry as well. Having a coach like you is so awesome. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Oh, amazing. Thank you very much. You can come back more often. Thank you,
Take
Jay.
care.